Critics have called out Malacanang's plan to militarize the BOC, or Bureau of Customs.
But the palace clarifies installing military men at the agency isn't really a takeover, but more like a temporary intervention. Maricel Halili tells us more.
Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo has once again justified President Duterte's plan to put the Bureau of Customs under military control. Based on the 1987 Constitution, the Philippine President, as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has the power to call out the military to prevent or suppress lawless violence, invasion, or rebellion. Panelo insists the Bureau's repeated inability to stop the entry of illegal drugs into the country clearly points to a state of lawlessness.
If you can bring in hundreds of kilos of drugs, then there must be some grave wrong in that area, and there is a state of lawlessness there. It violates the law, it violates the Constitution.
But Senator Cheese Escudero begs to differ. He says the drug incident at the Bureau cannot be considered lawless violence or rebellion. Thus, Escudero says, military takeover of the government bureau violates the Constitution. But Panelo explains,
when you say lawless violence, it's not just physical violence. You do violence to the Constitution, you do violence to the law, that's a state of lawlessness.
The presidential spokesperson also answered the alleged unconstitutionality of appointing active military men in civilian positions. Panelo says the arrangement is legal and also temporary.
But the president is not appointing or designating any particular member of the armed forces. As we said earlier, these people will be there first to make their presence felt, to create the military presence that hopefully will intimidate those corrupt people there.
Senator Richard Gordon agrees, saying he sees no problem with the decision of the president, given the gravity of problems hounding the agency. Still, he believes Malacanang ought to clarify the role of the soldiers in the Bureau.
Because the military hindi trained mag-assess. Ang military ay kaya magbantay sa gate. This is a stopgap solution. I'm just interpreting from my personal view as a senator. So, sinasabi ko lang, ganong kalaganap ang problema. And I said the other day when I was interviewed, parang itong terrorism na ang nangyayari sa drugs. Dapat itaas na ang pagpasok ng malalaking droga sa customs.
Duterte had earlier said he's counting on military men to get things done immediately.
Pero pag gusto mong, if you want something done, and done fast, per your order, you get a military man.
And so to clean up the mess over at the Customs Bureau, Panelo says the chief executive will listen to the recommendations of the newly appointed Customs Commissioner, Ray Guerrero. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.